My name is Tiffany Menke, and I'm going to talk to you today about the effects of goal setting with first grade students. This is my work as a graduate student at Morningside College. So what I'm going to start with is the problem statement, which was with the passing of No Child Left Behind legislation. Schools were mandated to meet an ever-increasing annual yearly progress in reading and math, and that this must be done without additional staff or time for the kids. In my building, the way we identify kids for services is through the FAST system. We are using FAST benchmarks to determine whether or not kids are proficient. We use the subtest scores to group students into MTSS groups, and we use FAST for progress monitoring. So our problem then is the kids who don't make the benchmark and aren't learning at a rate commensurate with their peers need some additional intervention time. That's why I chose this topic. I work with kids who have IEPs. First grade was my biggest group of students, and I knew that I needed to do something in addition to their specially designed instruction to help them make progress and meet those benchmarks with their peers. Seemed like goal setting might be something worth trying. So as I looked into the literature, I found that Iowa's literacy rates have not increased since the 90s. We know that kids with IEPs continue to score behind their peers, and according to the Iowa Department of Education, only 20% of our fourth grade students scored in the proficient range on the 2013 NAEP. So I looked into what to do about that, and the National Reading Panel recommends that we teach explicitly phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, and comprehension to our kids, and that the greatest gains come from teaching those four areas through the explicit instruction. I looked into the goal-setting literature, and I found a large body of work. I found some work by Locke and Latham where they summarized 35 years worth of psychology that investigated goal-setting theory and its effects on people, and what they found were mixed results. They saw some high effort with moderately difficult goals. They saw some low effort when the goals were either too difficult or too easy, and they saw some people who contributed a high effort when they had difficult goals. Locke and Latham discovered 4 moderating effects that goals had on people in the workplace. What they found was that having a goal in place directed people's attention toward goal-relevant activities and away from irrelevant activities, that they gave the employees energy. The goals also helped people persist in their tasks even when they were difficult, and they discovered or used new or related strategies. The next batch of research that I reviewed was Morisano, who conducted an intensive goal-setting instruction with college-age students, and they saw an increase in GPA. Chung also had students who reported higher grades. They set goals and made a plan to achieve them. 79% of them reported that their grades did in fact go up. Becker, McIlvaney, and Kortenbrook conducted a longitudinal study with students, 740 of them. They started monitoring them in 3rd grade and followed them through 6th grade. And what they found was a possible bidirectional relationship. It wasn't really conclusive, but a relationship between motivation and reading skill. That is, when kids were more motivated to read, their reading skills were better. And when their reading skills were better, they were also more motivated to read. That relationship points to the need to teach goal setting to our students in addition to reading skills. Moeller, Thieler, and Wu conducted a 5-year study with high school foreign language students. They found a high correlation between goal setting and student achievement. Travers, Morisano, and Locke saw a positive effect on students' growth, both academic and non-academic, and that the growth seemed to be connected to reflecting on those goals. What I did not find was work with young learners in regard to goal setting. I found lots of information on middle school, high school, and college-age students and how goal setting affected their progress. And what I didn't find was work on first grade students. So that was my gap, and therefore became the purpose of my study. I wanted to know What was the effect of a goal setting strategy with first grade learners on their growth in correct words per minute? I provided them with a couple of days of goal setting instruction. I reminded them of their goals every day, or that they had them. We didn't discuss exactly what they were. And then we measured that progress by using the FAST fluency probes for first graders. What I hypothesized was an increased growth rate after the goal setting instruction. So our independent variable is the goal setting instruction itself. The dependent variable is going to be their growth in correct words per minute. We had quantitative research in it, A/B design. We started with the baseline phase. I provided the goal setting instruction, and then I continued to collect data after that instruction. My participants were 4 first grade students in rural Iowa. They all have IEPs with goals in the area of reading. I taught them through the use of the BLAST Foundations program. It's a really great reading program that is scripted. It provides explicit instruction. It's in an I do, we do, they do model. It explicitly taught phonemic awareness and phonics. We continue to use our FAST for benchmarking and for progress monitoring. My procedure, I met with the kids every day for 30 minutes a day. These were pull-out sessions. They came to my office to work. We met at the same time every day. I followed the script closely because that's how the program is written. I conducted baseline data for 4 weeks. We did 2 days of goal setting instruction, and then we continued to teach using the BLAST program, and I collected data for 8 weeks following that instruction. What I found was a change in their growth in correct words per minute, but it was not significant. It was not statistically significant. All 4 students did show growth, but our p-value is 0.07. What I have here are the results of our dependent samples t-test. What I found was an increase in the mean correct words per minute from baseline to treatment, but as you can see by the p-value, it was not statistically significant. Some of the implications of the study are that it reinforced the need to help students find motivation. When you're motivated to read, you become a better reader, and when you're a better reader, you're more motivated to read. The study provides evidence to us that goal setting can be used with young learners. Again, it was not statistically significant, but it still is a strategy that can be used even though they're young children. Students can benefit from learning to create their own goals. Limitations. We had a small sample size, only 4 students. Only low-level learners were studied. BLAST was the only curriculum that was utilized. We had an A/B study design. Students are going to grow anyway. That's part of being a little kid, and they're going to learn no matter what we do, or so it seems. And then the administration of progress monitoring. We had teachers who did not send their kids to be monitored. They didn't send them down for instruction every day, so we lost out on some of that as well. Recommendations to make the study better would be to teach goal setting across curricular areas. Teach it in math, teach it in reading, teach it in non-academic areas as well. We could teach it across student subgroups. We could teach the whole class. We could teach it across grade levels. At the elementary level, as I mentioned before, there was not a lot of work done with elementary students and goal setting. We could use different research-based interventions coupled with the goal setting strategy. So rather than just the BLAST Foundations, we could use a Kathy Richardson math intervention and tie it to some goal setting. We could also conduct teacher studies to determine if teachers being trained by an official trainer rather than just picking up the manual, if that would make a difference in students' correct growth or correct words per minute. I think the bottom line is that we saw positive results when we used goal setting with young learners, which ties to the past research in so much as other researchers saw positive results when they used goal setting with their students as well. Here is a copy of all the references that I've mentioned today. If you don't have time to write these down, you can also contact me using my Morningside email. Thank you.